Assistant Superintendent Liam Hurley and Commissioner of Public Buildings Josh Morse provided an update on the educational design of Franklin Elementary School during a recent school committee meeting.
This is a step in the process that we've come to you folks. I don't actually, it feels very recent. We've come to you with Horace Mann and for 150 Jackson Road for Lincoln Elliott with the same basically product. So I don't think it's not a new item. This is the looking for your approval on not tonight, but on June 20th. So this is just a kind of a first reading to you folks for our design enrollment. This enrollment would support 18 classrooms, and we've done this range at the last couple of buildings of 18 classrooms, which would support 396 to 414 students. The second part of the memo is basically the template that we use. So we then take that design enrollment and it really kind of spits out an Excel file of how we break that building out from a square footage space. So it really shows the square footage of the classrooms. It goes into special education and resource spaces and support staff, PE, gym, art, music, all the rest on down the line to show a building. This building, and there'll be slight tweaks along the way. This building would be at, and this design would be just under 70,000 square feet with this piece here. So that's really the high level component. Again, we've been doing this. Thanks to Emily for sitting in at so many of these meetings and kind of looking at this. You've got a comparison here as well with the other larger buildings, certainly Angel Service Cabot, and as well as a comparison with the MSBA. We're pretty close to the MSBA. We've got a few additional things that we put on there as well. So Josh can add hours to what I've just presented to you there, but I would yeah, please don't, right? But just want to open it up to you. So the basic facts are this 18 classrooms, which has been kind of the model that we've been looking at, 396 to 414. And you've got kind of a template there, and there'll be little tweaks along the way as we kind of get into that. We've got our owner's project manager now on board as well. So CHA in addition to our architects, HMFH. So great team. I'm very excited. And obviously this would not be at all available if we were not for that debt exclusion override. So Franklin was the other piece along with Countryside. So that's a key piece of news that we got out of the override that I certainly need to celebrate. So Josh, feel free. What else? What did I miss? And what else do you want to add?
Yeah, just real briefly, I was going to add that similar to what we've done on our previous projects, like at Lincoln Elliott, we will be citing a location for a 4-classroom addition should we need it. So great comment by Rajiv, I believe, on Lincoln Elliott. We're carrying that forward on all our projects, as well as our approach to the, so it'll be an 18-classroom, 3-section school, but we'll look at that 4th kindergarten classroom as well, which allows us to absorb a bubble while we, in the future, should we need it, while we plan for that addition, should we need that.
And in addition to the 18 classrooms, this is also planned for 2 additional to be determined special education kind of dedicated classrooms as well. So it's certainly something Moore has been working with us on. I don't think it's yet to determine what we're going to do there, but we've been trying to have those spaces in program kind of as part of the base program if we can.
Emily, I saw you wanted to add something.
Yeah, so as usual, Josh and I, same wavelength. I was going to mention about the how the plans will include 4 additional classrooms if we do need extra capacity going forward in the future. I was also going to mention that the special education classrooms are for citywide programming, not just for students who are districted in Franklin. But yes, a very, very similar process and feel that we've been doing with our other recent school buildings. So
this is great. And Liam and Josh and Emily, thank you for bringing this information forward in a consistent way. So and with the comparisons to other schools. I have a broader question whose impact may not actually show up for another decade or so, which is with the zoning changes for village centers that are now required and which we think will go into effect at some point. Other than the 4 additional classrooms, is there any way for us to figure out some level of prediction of what the impact might be in terms of school populations? Or is that so far out in the future we're not really able to do it?
That's a great one. And so we've actually been looking at as part of the Ward and Underwood process as well. That's come to us, and we've actually had the planning director, Jennifer Kyra, came and presented to us a number of these pieces. I would say, if you look actually at the enrollment for Franklin, it is actually projected to continue to go down right now. So we are even at opening would actually have some capacity. Like we do with any of our school building projects, so we would be embarking, and we're going to do this with 150 Jackson Road. We would embark and look at if there are things in part of the student assignment working group, the SOG process at that building. So I think this village center, some kind of zoning that we're looking at, we are going to be working closely with the city, and I think that we need to start incorporating any of those changes that may impact any of our schools through the system, my understanding is many of these changes, I think, Rajiv, are going to take quite some time. I mean, this might be years away until we're seeing things. They may be, the zoning is there. And so it's certainly, there's certainly a possibility that density could come in. In many ways, I think that's probably a good thing for the city. So I think, if you said if we're doing a 5-year enrollment, would that have an impact right now on, for example, Franklin? I'm not quite sure, but we would look at that. We would work with the planning department and kind of plan that out. But I feel pretty comfortable given that our enrollment at Franklin right now is projected to go down. The fact that we've got the capacity, as Josh mentioned, to build 4 additional classrooms. And we, as you know, we've got a number of capacity and, good amount of capacity on the north side right now. And that's actually going to be kind of part of the Ward Underwood group looking at that capacity piece as well. So I'm confident that we'd be able to withstand some, additional enrollment. I think at this point, that would be a good problem for us to have.
Thank you, Rajiv. Go ahead on Ping.
Thank you. Rajiv, thanks for a good question. I thought about that, but I just, when I look at the City Hall talking about the zoning issues, but again, I'm glad that there's a cushion here. 390 to 414, like at Lincoln Ellis School. So, and of course, we all know that our Newton's population is not going high fast, at least not in the foreseeable future. So that's very good feeling. So we don't need to worry about that. And also looking at our past school projects, seems all buildings were well designed, and you guys got a lot of credits for that. And so I'm just wondering, you and Josh, any kind of concern from the school staff when you guys selecting feedback from any kind of concern? I haven't heard any, by the way. Mm-hmm. And no one sent me email, asking question about the school building issues or not in the recent, years. So I'm just wondering if anything's we should be mindful any kind of issues which could be a little potentially need our attention. Right. I'm just asking broadly.
Josh, there was just a recent, I think you had a visioning session again. I don't know if you want to talk about that. I think the feedback has been about some of the challenging aspects they've got about the building, working in the lower level. But Josh, I don't know, do you want to, what,
sure.
In terms of, I could make that visioning session. What did you hear? We've had an outside vendor that comes in and does a great kind of visioning. And it's a chance for the staff to actually give us a lot of feedback on kind of what they're seeing and feeling. So Josh, any feedback on that one?
Yeah, so this was our second visioning session with the Franklin School staff. They did an incredible job, obviously under the leadership of Mark Chitty. And I would say the number one concern is how quick can we move? Can we move faster? And a lot of that goes back to what Liam was saying. Current building, of course, has its challenges. So they'd like to see us move as quickly as we can. But the vast majority of the work that the staff put in is more forward thinking. It's thinking about what is the vision for Franklin? What kind of sense of community do we want in the building? What kind of visual aspects do we want? What's most important to staff in the various spaces? So it's really more kind of dreaming with them. And they did an incredible job. And that report should be ready in the next week or so. And we, of course, we'll share that with the school committee and the community.
I think there would be one that I would just add in terms of something that the principal has just shared with me is it will be a decision that we'll look closely at, and I'm a little bit ahead of ourselves here in talking about this, but I think it's worthwhile putting out there. But there will be a decision point at some point is if the building, if it's decided a new building needs to go there versus renovating the existing, whether or not it can be done on site. Do they need a swing space? That decision is not there, and I'm not trying to start any rumors, but that will be something I think we need to study closely. There's pros and cons to both of those. That will be something that I think that will be coming forward to you folks to talk about, should they move to a swing space building as the construction is there? Is there a benefit of staying there? What are the pros and cons of that? So I'm a little bit ahead of ourselves on that one, but I just wanted to put that as something that's on our radar.